You weren't born to be silent. You were born to shake the ground when you speak. There's a fire in you, not the kind they applaud, but the kind they fear. The kind you were told to dim, to shrink, to tuck away so you wouldn't make to others uncomfortable. But let me tell you something, that fire, that strength, that voice, it's not a flaw. Hit your crown. This isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering the woman you were before the world told you to be small. The one who didn't apologize for her power. The one who walked like a storm and spoke like thunder. So if you've been playing it safe, if you've been waiting for permission to take up space, this is your sign to rise. It's time to take back your throne. Not tomorrow, not when it's convenient. Right now, because the queen in you, she's not gone. She's just been waiting for you to return. And when you overextend yourself to be chosen, you abandon the very power that was meant to draw everything to you naturally. Let me break this down in a way most people won't tell you. The most magnetic women I've ever seen in my life, they weren't the loudest, the flashiest, or the ones trying to prove a damn thing. They walked into a room like they were sent there. They existed like a blessing, no chase, no struggle, just presence. And I remember one day, standing on set, exhausted, watching this woman handle chaos with pure grace. She wasn't trying to take control. She didn't beg for attention. But guess what? Every eye was on her. And not because she asked for it, but because she radiated what I call unstoppable feminine energy. And let me say this loud and clear, feminine power is not weakness. It's not passivity. It's the strength of being in tune with yourself so deeply that the world adjusts to your frequency, not the other way around. That's what we're talking about today, how to radiate feminine confidence, how to receive instead of forcing, how to attract without saying a word. But here's the thing they don't teach in school or shout from stages. The energy you carry decides what enters your life. Not your appearance, not your status, not your hustle, it's your energy. And if you stay with me, I'm going to show you how to shift that energy so that it works for you, not against you. There are subtle mindset switches, magnetic habits, and confidence rituals most people never tap into because they're too busy performing instead of becoming. This right here, this isn't about playing a role. It's about remembering who the hell you are underneath all the noise. So don't blink, because once you truly understand this, you'll stop chasing things that were meant to come find you. And somewhere in this video, I'll be sharing a concept that changed how I see feminine energy forever. Most people never notice it, but once you do, you'll never unsee it. It flips the script completely. Stay tuned. Let's talk about why chasing never works. See, we've all been conditioned by movies, by culture, by even our own families to believe that if you're not actively pursuing something, you're lazy. But when it comes to relationships, to purpose, to energy, chasing is the fastest way to kill the very thing you want to attract. Now I know that might sound backwards. You were probably raised to hustle hard, to prove your worth, to go after what you want. And I'm not knocking ambition. You know I'm all about the grind. But when it comes to your essence, your feminine magnetism, that's something you hustle into. That's something you uncover, something you hold steady. Let me give it to you like this. Have you ever seen someone desperately trying to hold onto a butterfly? They close their hands around it so tight that the butterfly either escapes or gets crushed. But the person who simply sits still, open-handed, calm, the butterfly chooses to land. That's the feminine in its power. That's receiving instead of forcing. And I had to learn that the hard way. There was a time in my life when I thought showing up for someone meant doing everything for them. Calling first, overcompensizing, fixing things that weren't mine to fix. And I noticed something, the more I gave, the less they valued it. Not because they were bad people, but because my energy screamed, choose me. I'm available. I'll adjust myself for you. That's not love. That self-abandonment, wearing a pretty mask, and it's draining. You feel it every time you overextend. A piece of your joy gets quieter. And that's the real cost nobody talks about. It's not just your time or your effort. It's your life. Now let's flip the script. What if, instead of bending yourself to be wanted, you centered yourself so deeply that anyone not aligned with your truth simply faded away? Not because you pushed them, but because you pushed them, or because your vibe made it impossible for anything unworthy to stay. That's how to radiate feminine unconfidence. It's not in your words. It's not in how loud you speak or how perfect you look. It's in how rooted you are, rooted in your values, rooted in your worth, rooted in the understanding that you don't need to chase love, you attract it by being whole. Now I want to make this practical. Here are 3 shifts that will instantly begin to amplify your feminine magnetism. Number 1, start asking yourself before every decision, am I doing this from alignment or from fear? Fear says if I don't do this, they'll leave. Alignment says if I stay true to myself, the right things will stay. Number 2, practice pausing. Instead of reacting, take a breath. When someone pulls away, don't chase, observe. Magnetism is quiet power. Stillness isn't passive, it's potent. Number 3, switch your daily intention from what can I do to be liked to how can I honor my energy today? Because when you honor your energy, you teach the world how to honor you. And look, I get it. Sometimes it feels easier to chase than to wait. Sometimes silence feels like punishment. But here's what I've learned: waiting in your power is different than waiting in your pain. When you wait in your power, you grow. You glow. You become. When you wait in pain, you shrink. And if you're wondering, will this actually work for someone like me? Let me tell you a little story. There's someone I met years ago, quiet, almost invisible to the room at first. But the more she didn't try to impress, the more you couldn't ignore her. She didn't talk over people. She didn't chase applause. She knew what she brought in that calm confidence. It rearranged the atmosphere. That's what unstoppable feminine energy looks like. It doesn't scream, it sits. It doesn't demand, it draws. And when you tap into it, you realize you were never meant to chase anything. You were meant to attract everything aligned with your highest self. Let me ask you something personal. Have you ever felt like no matter how much you gave, it was never enough? Like the more love, attention, effort you poured out, the emptier you became. You smiled, you supported, you stayed late, you fixed problems that didn't belong to you, but at the end of the day, they didn't choose you. That's not a reflection of your worth. That's a reflection of what happens when your energy says, I'll do anything to be seen, instead of I already see myself. See, there's a version of you that's already powerful, already magnetic. But if you keep leaking your light into people who can't receive it, your soul starts to whisper, stop dimming. Stop proving. Stop chasing. This isn't about playing hard to get. It's about being so grounded in your feminine truth that if something isn't aligned, it disqualifies itself. You ever notice how some women, they walk into a space and without saying a word, you feel them, you can't explain it. You just know they don't need validation. They're not desperate. They've done the inner work. That's not luck. That's not magic. That's energetic clarity. And you can build it. Now, I want you to picture this. There's a woman who wakes up every day and instead of asking, who's going to love me today? She asks, how can I love myself so completely that I attract only those who reflect that back? She doesn't check her phone hoping for a text. She doesn't whisk herself into emotional knots trying to make someone stay. She sets her boundaries like they're sacred. She receives love like it's her birthright, not a reward. That woman, she's a force. And let's be real, she's not always the loudest in the room. She's not always praised for being nice, but she's noticed. Because true feminine energy doesn't shout, it echoes. Now, I want to give you something you can apply right now, a practice I've seen transform women from anxious to magnetic without changing anything external. It's called energetic reversal. Here's how it works. When you feel the urge to chase spots, when you feel the pressure to force breathe, when you feel like someone's pulling away instead of collapsing inward, you expand outward. Did you return to yourself? You ask, what do I need right now? How do I want to feel? What version of me am I honoring? Because the moment you shift the focus from them back to you, your power returns. And with it, your feminine magnetism amplifies. Let me share something I witnessed a while back that stuck with me. There was this woman, she was in a room with powerful people. Celebrities, business leaders, alpha energy everywhere. And she wasn't trying to impress a soul. She was listening deeply, smiling softly, fully present. She didn't compete. And yet, the most powerful men in that room noticed her. Why? Because she wasn't trying to prove. She was simply being. She embodied this truth: you attract without chasing when you trust your own frequency. Let that land. Your frequency is felt before your words are heard. And when your energy is calm, intentional, and full of self-trust, the world responds to it. So how do you get there? Start eliminating the things that cause you to abandon yourself. You know what I'm talking about, those one-sided conversations, the situationships, the approval addiction, the people-pleasing spiral. Every time you say yes when your heart screams, no, you dilute your energy. You dim your magnetism. But every time you honor your inner voice, even if it's inconvenient, even if it disappoints someone, you grow more radiant. Because feminine power isn't about being agreeable. It's about being authentic. And authenticity, that's what makes people lean in. That's what makes you unforgettable. You were never meant to beg for attention. You were meant to command a room through presence. And in the next section, I'm going to break down how your environment plays into this, how the spaces you're in and the people you surround yourself with can either drain or multiply your feminine energy, because energy is contagious. And once you understand how to protect yours, you'll stop letting people borrow it without permission. Let's get on this for a second. Your energy might be pure, powerful, magnetic even, but if you're surrounded by environments that don't reflect your worth, you'll keep feeling like something's off, like you're swimming upstream. You ever walk into a room and feel your confidence shrink just because of the energy in it? You were glowing that morning, feeling yourself. Then boom, one sarcastic comment, one subtle jab, one look that says, who do you think you are? And suddenly you shrink. You start second guessing the outfit you loved 10 minutes ago. You quiet your laugh. You adjust your truth. Let me tell you something from experience. You can radiate unstoppable feminine energy if your environment is teaching you to dim it. Now, I'm not saying go ghost and move to a mountain, but I am saying this. You need to protect your energy like it's gold, because it is, and not everyone is meant to have access to it. There are people out there who feed off your doubt, who love it when you chase. Because as long as you're chasing, they're in control. As long as you're proving, they don't have to. As long as you're overgiving, they never have to give back. That's not a relationship. That's emotional debt. And you've been paying interest for way too long. So let's flip that dynamic. Let's talk about how to create an environment that amplifies your magnetism instead of suppressing it. Step 1, audit your circle. Ask yourself, do I feel more myself after spending time with this person? Do I feel seen, heard, respected, or do I leave feeling smaller? Because the truth is, some people love the version of you that doesn't know her power. They love the version of you that's still questioning, still chasing, still performing. Why? Because that version is easier to manage. But the real you, the you that walks with grace and boundaries and standards, she's not for everybody. And that's okay. she's not supposed to be. Step 2, be intentional with your space. Where you sleep, where you eat, where you spend your quiet moments, all of it either adds to your feminine energy or drains it. Does your space reflect the softness and power you want to feel inside? Is it cluttered with chaos or curated for peace? Because here's the thing most people ignore. Your nervous system remembers your surroundings. And if your space constantly reminds you of stress, lack, or rejection, your energy will start to match that frequency. But if you create a space, even a small corner, that reminds you of your strength, your softness, your divine magnetism, you begin to heal just by existing in it. It's power. That's intention. That's feminine energy in motion. Step 3, start calling back your energy. I mean, literally. Close your eyes and say to yourself, I call back every piece of me I gave away trying to be chosen. Say it with your chest, because you did give pieces away. The Alhim, to the ex who didn't see your worth, to the job that exploited your time, to the friend who only showed up when they needed something. Call it back. Reclaim your radiance, because feminine energy isn't just about softness. It's about sovereignty. It's the fire wrapped in silk. It's the thunder behind the stillness. It's knowing when to open your heart and when to close the gates. And let me tell you something else, you are not hard to love. You're just trying to be loved in places that ask you to betray yourself. But the more you stay in alignment with your truth, the less you feel the need to perform for proximity. So here's a powerful shift. Don't focus on being chosen. Focus on being so in your power that the right people recognize your frequency without you saying a word, because your energy does the talking long before your mouth opens. And if you're wondering, is it really possible to live like that, to radiate without chasing, to stop forcing outcomes? Yes, but not by doing more, by doing less of what disconnects you from yourself. The truth is, the version of you that radiates unstoppable feminine and energy, she's already in you. She's the you that says no with love, that rests without guilt, that receives without apology. She's waiting, not on someone else. She's waiting on you. And in the next part, I'm going to show you how to step fully into that version, how to fuse and how to hold that energy no matter who's watching or who walks away. This is where the transformation gets personal. You ready? All right. Now we're at the part most people avoid. Not because it's hard to understand, but because it's hard to live. You want to radiate unstoppable feminine energy. Then you've got to be willing to release control. And I know you've been taught that if you don't make it happen, it won't happen. You've been trained to initiate, to chase, to schedule, to fix, to force. But what if I told you that kind of energy isn't attracting what you want, it's repelling it? See, when you're constantly doing to feel worthy, you send out a signal that says, I don't believe I'm enough unless I'm working for it. But true feminine power, it lives in receiving. It flows in surrender. It thrives in trust. Let's get one thing straight, receiving isn't passive. It's not weakness. It's an energetic posture that says, I know what I'm worth. I don't have to hunt it. I attract it through alignment. Let me break it down this way. Masculine energy says, let me chase the goal. Feminine energy says, let me embody the outcome so deeply, it shows up for me. That's how you attract without chasing. That's the secret to feminine magnetism. It's not in the hustle, it's in the presence. You ever hear the phrase, she's in her soft era? That's not about wearing pink and taking bubble baths, about finally stepping out of survival mode. It's about no longer proving your worth through exhaustion. It's about becoming a safe place for yourself, so the right people feel that safety in you too. And here's what they don't tell you. The more you relax into your feminine energy, the faster things align. Right? Because life responds to alignment, not aggression. It's like the safe flower doesn't scream to be seen. It blooms and the bees show up. So if you're in a season right now where you feel like nobody sees you, maybe it's time to stop chasing the bees and just focus on blooming. Let me give you a powerful shift. Instead of asking, how can I get them to notice me? Ask, how can I honor me so deeply that I don't need to be noticed to feel complete? And I promise you that shift right there, it will change how you walk into rooms. It will change how you sit in silence. It will change what kind of energy you allow near you. Because once you get real about your value, once you know that your love, your time, your body, your energy, they're sacred, you'll stop handing out discounts. You'll stop answering texts that shake your peace. You'll stop trying to keep people who only show up when it's convenient. You'll stop auditioning because the right people don't need a performance. They recognize you the moment you show up as you. And if you've ever felt like being soft gets you hurt, let me say this loud and clear: softness is not the problem. Being soft with no boundaries is. You can be feminine and fierce. You can be warm and wise. You can be soft and still walk away the moment you're disrespected. That's what unstoppable feminine energy looks like. Not perfection, but embodied permission. Permission to choose yourself first. Permission to receive without shame. Permission to walk away without guilt. And when you live that way, you won't have to force a thing, because your energy will do the work for you. The room will feel you. The right doors will open. And what's meant for you, it'll arrive, not because you chased it, but because you align with it. So let me leave you with this: if nobody told you today you are enough. Not the you who tries hard to be liked. Not the you who overgives to be needed. I'm talking about the quiet you, the sacred you, the fully present you. She's not lost. She's just waiting for you to stop fighting to be someone else. If this message spoke to your spirit, if something inside you whispered, yes, this is who I really am, then don't let this be the end. Let this be the beginning. Go check out the next video we prepared for you. This mindset makes you unstoppable. Because now that you've learned how to radiate your feminine energy, it's time to lock in a mindset that keeps you in your power every single day. We are Wisdom Recorder, your knowledge source. Subscribe, like, and remember, you never had to chase love. You only had to become the version of you that no longer runs from it.